Good afternoon. My name is Larry Klayman. I'm the founder of both Judicial Watch and now Freedom Watch. I'm a former federal prosecutor, and I'm also an international lawyer. I speak 3 languages, French, Italian, and English, and some Spanish, I guess 3.5. So I have some experience in what I'm going to say. But I want to talk today about John McCain, who is a very powerful senator in the Republican Party, Republican establishment. He even ran for president in 2008. I met him before that when I was running Judicial Watch, when he called me up to Capitol Hill, and I was impressed, and asked me what I had with regard to Chinagate. That was the sale of U.S. services by the Clinton administration, namely seats on trade missions and other matters, for campaign cash to the Clinton campaign. He came out of his office, he shook my hand, he has a gnarled hand, and I feel bad that he was tortured in the Hanoi Hilton when he was a prisoner in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And he said to me, "Larry, I feel like I know you. I've seen you so much on television." He was very warm and friendly. And we went into his office and we went through some things, and I showed him how the Democratic National Committee under Bill Clinton and Ron Brown were selling everything, even Socks the cat. That was the Clintons' cat in the White House. I used to joke that let's hope they didn't sell Socks the cat to the Chinese, because most of the bribery was coming from China at the time into the Clinton campaign. Now, we had a discussion, and he said he would look into it, he would follow up. He was outraged by what he saw. He added that, my party does similar things, meaning the Republican Party, which was true, but not to the extent that the Clintons had done it. They were selling everything. They were selling everything in the White House. They were selling everything throughout government, whether it was seats on trade missions or overnight stays in the White House. I used to joke for $100,000 you could stay in the White House. If you're willing to do it for free, you could sleep with Hillary. That was the benefit. That was my joke at the time. But it really was true. Judgeships, commissionerships, pardons, the Clintons sold everything. And McCain did virtually nothing about that corruption, although he tried to use it to some extent when he ran for president in 2008. And what happened in 2008? He ran for the presidency and frankly fell flat on his face. He also had a running mate by the name of Sarah Palin, a very valiant, nice, sincere woman. And he allowed his staff to destroy Sarah Palin to the point that perhaps she's never even recovered today. It was very, very low class that he didn't come in and back her up. Because, John McCain has one basic problem. He loves publicity. There's nothing wrong with publicity if, in fact, publicity serves a purpose. But McCain simply wants to get his face on television. And frankly, he's willing to kiss the ass of the leftist establishment time in and time out to try to do that. The irony is that when he ran for presidency in 2008, though they loved him before for his stands on various matters, they hated him in 2008 because he was a threat to the leftist media. He perhaps could have become president when he ran against Barack Obama. Now, years later, I had various clients at Voice of America, broadcasters, represented a number of them, and they were being persecuted because they wanted a more aggressive propaganda against Iran. In 2009, the regime almost fell. It was the Green Revolution, and students were rising up. And in fact, one of the students, an attractive woman named Nada, very young, was shot dead in the streets, which created a big uproar. So I went to McCain and I said, you've got to exercise some authority here. You're the leading member on Capitol Hill in the Republican Party. And Voice of America, which Ronald Reagan had used so effectively to bring down the evil empire, the Soviet Union, by destabilizing it from within, could be used against the Iranian regime during this very volatile period when perhaps if we could get rid of it, we wouldn't have to worry about atomic weapons. Voice of America, their board of directors is half Republican, half Democrat. So McCain had authority to go in there. And Voice of America at that time in the Persian News Network was being run by someone whose father was an advisor to the Ayatollah Khomeini in Tehran. It was an outrage. Now, Obama turned Voice of America into a propaganda machine for the Iranian regime, not for the United States. And McCain did nothing, probably because he was afraid that if he took on Obama, he'd be called a racist, because that would damage his ability to get on television with the leftist media. I hold him accountable for that. I met with his staff several times, and it was an absolute disgrace that he did nothing. Now, fast forward. President Donald Trump runs for the presidency. The issue of McCain comes up. Trump makes a comment about McCain, about his captivity. Now, I don't think Trump meant in any way to disparage McCain, but McCain had already been taking shots at Trump frankly, because he was jealous, because he had lost. He was a loser in 2008. And Trump was coming up. And the comment that Trump made about, gee, I respect people more who fight in wars than get captured, was simply a reaction to McCain's big mouth. And it's known on Capitol Hill that John McCain has a foul mouth, that he uses four-letter words frequently. And he's just simply not a classy person, although he tries to portray that. And to show you the lack of class is that just in the last few days, John McCain has appeared at the Munich conference, along with Vice President Pence and our new Secretary of Defense, Mad Dog Mattis, and others, and tried to undercut Trump yet again. This is what he does because he feels jealous and he wants publicity. And he went in front of people in Germany, and frankly, it's just a low class to criticize the President of the United States on foreign soil. Assuming you have valid criticism, do it on American soil. And what McCain did was to say that Donald Trump, in effect, is a precursor to an Adolf Hitler in the United States, that by criticizing the media, he's in fact furthering a dictatorship. Tried to soften a little bit, but frankly it didn't sell. And he then went on to criticize President Trump over the Muslim ban, which is quite legitimate. In fact, McCain's never done anything about curbing terrorist Muslim immigration into the United States. And again, he continues to be the most powerful Republican senator in some respects, having run for president. And it's also interesting that years ago, people called on McCain to have Huma Abedin, who's a Palestinian-related individual, through her mother to the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas, the granddaddies of terrorism. Hamas is part of the Muslim Brotherhood, to have her investigated. And he backed off of that, too, during the Obama administration, undoubtedly because that's not good for the leftist media. Well, you know, I have in front of me a list of things, and the list goes on and on and on with McCain. And I've never seen a war that, frankly, the guy didn't like. He wants to get into every conceivable war. He thinks that he's macho. He may have been macho when he went to the Naval Academy. His father was the admiral of the 7th Fleet when he was taken prisoner in Vietnam. So I guess he felt he was privileged. He nearly flunked out of Annapolis. And the guy, frankly, is a loser. He's a total loser. He's a big mouth, and he's a loser. And it's about time, frankly, that he retired to Jurassic Park, because he's nothing but a dinosaur. He's doing harm to this country. And I had to speak out today because the hypocrisy of John McCain just reeks. There's an odor of it. And people should simply ignore what he says. If he wants to do the liberal media to retire, get a talk show host position on MSNBC or CNN, he'd fit right in. So this is my statement for today. John McCain, take a trip to Costa Rica. There's a nice place waiting for you at Jurassic Park. Your time has come and gone. At this point, you're senile. Be put out to pasture like the dinosaur you are. And that's my statement for today. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America. God save America. We don't need any more John McCains.